You are my home, the light you share. You are my whole life, and stars appear. Like you got that something that keep me here. You are my whole life, don't you disappear.
Hey there friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle, for those of you who are brand new around here. I love to talk all about affordable living and intentional homemaking. And one of the things that I have really had on my heart recently is to get the house deep cleaned for the spring season. So come join me as I deep clean my entire kitchen. Oh my gosh, wow, did this feel so good. Not only did the kitchen desperately need it, but it truly set me up for preparing the house for the spring season. There is something about the springtime approaching that makes you want to shake off the dust off of the winter season and prepare for the new life of the spring. And to be totally honest, I wasn't actually going to deep clean the kitchen this day. I wasn't prepared to do that. And then I decided to start washing my sink. I got this amazing product that I really love called the Pink Stuff. If you've never used it and you have an enamel sink, I would highly, highly recommend it. I think it also works really well on a stainless steel sink as well, but I have an enamel sink and it is such a godsend on my enamel sink. It really gets all of the stains and grossness out of it. If you've never checked it out before, I will have a link for it below, but it is a very soft, abrasive scrub that gets any dingy dirtiness out of your sink. The first time my husband used this stuff, he was like, oh my gosh, this sink looks completely new after using it. I said, I know, I love this stuff. It's amazing. So anyway, I was doing that. And then I thought to myself, well, now that the sink looks so good, how about I clean the stove? How about I clean the oven? How about I clean the microwave? And then it just kind of snowballed from there. I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to deep clean the entire kitchen. And that is exactly what I decided to do on this day. And actually, it took me like another day or two to really finish deep cleaning everything, just with regular life going on and everything else that I needed to take care of for my family, my house to actually keep functioning. But that's one of the tips that I actually really wanted to encourage y'all with today, is just because something seems daunting, something seems like a really big task, like deep cleaning the entire kitchen, that does not mean that you need to do it all in one day. We're not talking about being perfect here, people. I am so far from perfect, and I know that my house is a messy, crazy whole thing every single day, but I do my best to do little by little each and every day, and that really helps to keep the house clean and organized and prepared for our daily lives. So deep cleaning this kitchen was something that I desperately needed to do. I don't think I've deep cleaned in a really long time. Like, there was so many grease stains on my oven and my stove. The microwave is actually brand new, but it was starting to look a little crunchy, and I wanted to make sure that all of that was cleaned off so that I could continue to prepare meals in my house. One of the things that I really don't pay a whole lot of attention to, and I need to get better at, is deep cleaning my oven. I am not sure I've ever really deep cleaned my oven. There's like that self-cleaning function on the oven, and I like to press that and use that to clean it, but I don't think I've ever gotten in and scrubbed it myself. So that is something that I still desperately need to do. After I deep cleaned the majority of my kitchen, there were two spots that I still had not fully gotten to, and that was my my oven and my fridge. Those are two places that I need to go back and really pull everything out of and deep clean them really well, because this is where our food hangs out the most. So obviously it takes up the most space. It really has a lot of wear and tear. So I need to make sure that I go back and take care of those things. But I was doing the best that I could for the time that I had. And like I said, I took 2 days to really do a majority of this cleaning. One of the things that I really struggle with in my kitchen is things just collecting dust. There is dust all over the cabinets, the ceiling, not like the ceiling, but like the top of the cabinets, the top of the fridge, the back of the stove had so much grease kind of built up on it. Around my backsplash was super, super messy, so I needed to really go through and clean all of that. And I had actually gotten this amazing steamer for Christmas. So my mom randomly messaged me one day and was like, "Do you have a steam cleaner?" And I was like, "No, what would I need a steam cleaner for?" And she was like, "Trust me, it's going to be the greatest thing that you ever get your hands on." And I was so surprised and shocked that she bought it and sent it to me, but super grateful, because as you can see, there's so much dust and dirt collecting up in all of the little corners and whatnot. And I was able to steam clean all of it. I was able to steam clean the wood. I was able to steam clean the appliances. I was able to steam clean the backsplash in the kitchen. It really helped to just give a whole new life to the kitchen space, which is exactly what I was doing with this deep clean. I got the countertops, so many crevices that like you don't really think of when you are just kind of doing a general wipe down of the kitchen in the evening times. This really got all of that leftover food and whatnot. So I was very excited to have this product. I will also have it linked in the description below. And come on, guys, it's dance break time, because we all need a dance break when we are cleaning the entire house. I also needed to make sure that I got rid of any junk and clutter that was filling up my house. And guys, this is what my buffet and my shelves look like. They still look like Christmas. I took down the very distinctive Christmassy type items when I was putting Christmas away, but I left the shelves kind of decorated with this sort of muted Christmassy wintry tone, and they absolutely need to be redecorated. So that is what I'm going to be getting up to in the next week or two. It's kind of resetting the house, getting rid of all of the winter decor, pulling out the spring decor, because I don't know about you guys, but it has been incredibly warm here. We went from having a couple of weeks with snow throughout the week to all of a sudden having like 50 and 60-degree days. The other day it was 68 degrees outside, and I was just like, what is going on? But I'm not complaining about it, because I love the spring season. I've taken time to really look introspectively at myself, and I have fully decided that spring is my absolute favorite season of them all. I love flowers. I love planting. I love getting the vegetable garden ready. I just love having the windows thrown open and really getting that fresh scent of air kicking through all of your windows. I love when the curtains are blowing up in the air, how beautiful and breezy it feels. And there's just a fresh scent that really starts to permeate your home when you have your windows open. So I love being able to do that after a winter stuck inside and feeling a little cramped. And it has just been absolutely beautiful. We've been spending a lot more time doing walks, playing outside, all of the things. So I'm here for the spring season to start. But I wanted to make sure that I put away all of the stuff that was laying out. Y'all, I have clutter in this house sometimes. And I want to be totally honest and transparent. Sometimes there is a real battle within me between collecting the things that I love and then also being a minimalist. I am not a minimalist by any sense of the word, but I love having kind of a minimal visual to things. I want stuff to be put away. I want a place for everything. I don't want to collect a whole bunch of junk. And I actually did this the other week with my kids' toys. So my boys just had birthdays. Their birthdays are back to back in the month of February. So we just went through having their birthdays. They had a huge joint birthday party, and they got so much stuff, guys, like so many toys. And I'm so incredibly grateful to the amazing friends and family who came out and spoiled my kids. We are so lucky to have you guys. We just had so much stuff come through this house. And I had to really take time to take inventory of all of the things that we already owned, that we already had, and be like, do the kids play with this? Is this even necessary? Some of the toys were from when my first was about 1 year old. Now, my second has just turned 1. However, he got his own set of toys for his birthday, and there's really no reason for us to be having double the amount of things around the house. So I went through and did a huge purge and got rid of so much stuff so that I could really take time to minimalize the things and the clutter in the house so that it felt less heavy and less weighted. But like I said, I'm not perfect at this. There is so many times where I love to go out to the thrift store, buy so many fun things, whether it's new books for the kids, clothes, so much decor. I love decor. And I think that's why I love thrifting so much, is because I can take time to then give items to the thrift store and purchase new items for a very reasonable price. It's almost like trading in some of your old stuff to get new stuff around the house. And it makes me feel like I'm able to really bring some life to my house without really spending a ton of money. So I'm a huge thrifter. I absolutely love it. But I'd love to hear in the comments where you land on this spectrum. Are you a minimalist? Are you a collector of all of the things? Or do you dance back and forth like I do? I definitely dance back and forth between, I want to collect so many beautiful, pretty things. And then I'm like, I hate it all, throw it all out. So I'd love to hear in the comments below what type of person you are when it comes to creating a home that you love and collecting some of those fun items. So getting back to the deep cleaning of my kitchen, I just really loved how this steamer was able to get to everything. It's able to very satisfyingly lift all of the dirt and dust out of all the crevices, as well as help me to clean some of my decor that I had out and up on the top cabinets. Our cabinets don't go all the way up to the ceiling. You kind of saw that in an earlier clip that I was actually standing on the top of the cabinets, getting the walls behind the cabinets, dusting them. So I do like to throw some decor up on the top of my cabinets, and a bunch of the decor that I have up there are a bunch of lanterns that were from me and my husband's wedding. So really cute, fun story about me and my husband. The very first gift my husband ever bought me was a lantern. And I thought that was so sweet. We were at our favorite garden spot that we love to go visit. And they were having this one sort of area filled with lanterns. And I thought it was so beautiful and so magical. And he went back to that spot. This was actually before we were officially dating. So this makes me love him even more. But he went back to that spot when I wasn't with him, and he bought one of those lanterns that they had out. And it was something that just set my whole spirit on fire, because no one had ever really done that for me, like really paid attention to something that I loved so much and then went back and picked it up. So I was so grateful that he did that. So as a part of like homage to him doing that for me, we ended up buying all of these sweet little lanterns and putting them all around our wedding for the decor. We had them as our centerpieces at all of our tables, and the florist came in and created the most stunning sort of floral scapes just pouring out of the lanterns. They were lovely, but then afterwards we were able to take all of the lanterns home, and we have them decorating our home. It's been over 10 years. We've been married for over 10 years now, and we still have these lanterns decorated all over our house. And one of my favorite places to place them is my kitchen. So they hang out, some of them on the top of my cabinets, and it helps to elongate the cabinets. It helps to make them feel larger than they actually are, and kind of like everything is still going up towards the ceiling and still looks absolutely beautiful. So I really love them. I think that they are so stunning, and they add such a fun little pop to my entire cabinetry. So moving on from all of this fun deep cleaning, I want to take some time to cook dinner this evening as well. So like I said, this was done over 2 days. So the cooking was actually done the first night, not the second night, but I had such a good time putting together this amazing chicken parm. It was the first time that I ever made it, and I made the breadcrumbs from sourdough, like from scratch. And guys, this was kind of a fail, but I think that just because it's a fail doesn't mean that we should pretend like it didn't happen. So let's get into my fail of a chicken parm that was actually really delicious. So I had a loaf of sourdough bread that was just kind of hanging out in the fridge that I wanted to get through. It was starting to get a little bit older, and I figured I could make this into my breadcrumbs really easily. So I chopped up my sourdough bread, and then I put some melted butter over the top and mixed that all together until all of the pieces of bread were really coated with all of the butter. And then I stuck them in the oven at 425 for about 20 minutes. Now, y'all, this is where the fail came in, because I probably should have done it for more like 40 minutes, but I had started this dinner so late that I really did not get them as crispy as I would have. So like if I was making a stuffing or something like that, I would have had them in the oven for a lot longer. I did flip them halfway through, and then I got together my different bowl mixtures. So the first bowl mixture that you're going to put together is your flour bowl. This is where the chicken goes in, it gets floured, and then it goes into the next bowl with the egg, and then it goes into the last bowl with the breadcrumbs and the cheese. So my flour mixture was a half a cup of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of seasoned salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. That's like the official recipe, but honestly, I just threw in my salt and pepper. I wasn't really paying super duper close attention to it. And then I beat together 2 eggs in another bowl with about 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Again, I just kind of threw it in there. I'm not somebody who follows recipes like extremely to the T when I'm doing cooking. I do more so obviously with baking, but when it comes to cooking, I just kind of like trial and error, make sure I like the way it tastes, all of that. And then for my breadcrumb recipe, I did about 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs, 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese, some oregano, and some Italian seasoning kind of sprinkled on top, and mix that all together. And while I was organizing all of this, I did the cheese and the seasoning in the last bowl. And then when my breadcrumbs were done, I took them out and I stuck them into the food processor. Now, because they were not like baked up enough, they definitely were still a little bit soggy. So when I put them into my food processor, it took them a little bit of time to really kind of break down, and they were a lot thicker than I would have liked, but I was just trying to rush through and get this recipe done. And honestly, it didn't come out bad. Like I said, they were much thicker, a little bit wetter than I would have wanted. But once I stuck them in the pan on the chicken, it really crisped up nicely. So then I grabbed my oil, I stuck it into my cast iron skillet, and I let that heat up. I put a nice amount of oil in because you're really going to be kind of sauteing the chicken in the pan. So put a healthy amount of oil in. I had a pot boiling water off to the side, and I threw in my spaghetti because I was going to have some spaghetti with our chicken parm. And then I went through and I got the chicken together. Now, this was fail number 2, my friends. I read a recipe that very much said pound the chicken thin. And I was like, I don't need to do that. Well, I should have listened to them because it made the cooking of the chicken take a little bit longer, which then made the breadcrumbs come out a little bit more on the burnt side than I would have liked. It didn't taste bad, but again, it was just a little bit more than I would have wanted. So then I cooked up all of my chicken and I stuck it in a nice roasting pan. I threw some tomato sauce on the bottom, and then I threw all of the pieces of chicken on the top, added a bit more of tomato sauce to the top of the pan, and some mozzarella cheese just to make it nice and ooey gooey. And this recipe, like I said, even though I had 2 fails along the way, came out really good. And I wasn't sitting here trying to create the most lovely dinner party meal. I was just trying to get stuff together for my family to eat, and they absolutely loved it. They couldn't even tell that I felt like I had failed through the chicken parm baking portion of it. So this is my kind of encouragement to you guys. If you are working through something and it feels like it's not going well, just keep at it, because honestly, it's probably going to come out better than you even realize when you're putting it together. So I took my chicken and my pasta and I plated that up and served that to my family. So I'm so grateful for all of you guys joining me today on my channel. I always appreciate when you are here. Leave a comment below letting me know what your favorite dinner is, what it is that you are cooking in your kitchen during this late winter season. And I can't wait to see you guys next week on another video. Have an amazing week, my friends. Bye.